Hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 12 of Techopolis. In today's episode, we're gonna be diving into a bit of mechanism, specifically getting into some gases from mechanism. And the reason being for that is to make ultimate Technium ingots, we have all the 6 resources that we need. The only thing that we're missing is liquid sulfur dioxide. And to make liquid sulfur dioxide, we start off by taking coal blocks in a pressurized reaction chamber with some water and some oxygen, and we turn that into sulfur dust and hydrogen. And then we take the sulfur dust, we put it in a chemical oxidizer, which turns it into sulfur dioxide. We then actually have to run it through a condensator, and that turns it into liquid sulfur dioxide, which we can then use to make the ultimate Technium ingot. To make the PRC, the recipe looks like this, and we're just going to grab it and get started with the ultimate Technium ingot questline. I have, I think, a pretty good layout of how these machines are going to be laid out, and I hope I can get all of these to work properly. We're going to see if we can input and output all the things correctly, but we're going to do all of that with XNet here in the back. We have just connectors everywhere, and what basically is going to happen over here, this guy is going to get some water. It's the electrolytic separator, and it will split the water into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen is going to go here in the left, and then the oxygen is going to be stored here on the right. The oxygen we're then going to give to the pressurized reaction chamber, mix it with some water and some coal blocks, and it's going to make sulfur dust. I have a bit of sulfur dust that I've gotten from blaze rod pulverization, I believe, so that's where that came from. And then we're going to take the sulfur dust, we're going to put it into the chemical oxidizer like so, and it's going to turn it into basically liquid sulfur dioxide through the rotary condensator. And that is going to then be stored over here. If we set this guy's output to be proper, or possibly this guy's input to be on the left. Actually, if we put a liquid storage block, we should be able to store the liquid sulfur dioxide in here. There we go. And we can do an in-out on the right for the fluid storage bus like so. And that should be good for us to make liquid sulfur dioxide. I'm also going to upgrade this cell real quick and also upgrade all of these machines. There's speed and energy upgrades, and you can do 8 of each. So you can just shift click them on like so. And I have done that in between episodes to basically every mechanism machine in the base that we have. And I have also added upgrades to all of these. They each have the reinforced integral components and the 3 flux linkage amplifiers. And that is basically in every machine in the base. I didn't do the upgrades before because we didn't have enough power, but now we have plenty of power to go around. So that is what happened basically in between episodes. In the XNet controller, we're going to extract some power out of the ultimate universal cable and distribute it amongst all of the machines, and with a priority 1, give it to the controller so it always has power first. And then the second channel, we're going to make for some fluid, like so, and we're going to extract a bit of water over here. We're going to set it to 10 ticks for each evaporation, and we're going to do 5,000, so it's max extraction rate. And we're going to give water to the electrolytic separator and also the pressurized reaction chamber. To have the electrolytic separator constantly produce oxygen and not get blocked by excess hydrogen, we have to set a dumping excess on the ultimate chemical tank for hydrogen. So it's going to constantly keep 460,000 whatever millibuckets or whatever this is, because it's gas. It is millibuckets. Okay. So it's going to keep 460,800 millibuckets of hydrogen always in this tank, which means that hydrogen will always be empty in here. And then this guy is just set to idle, so it fills up with oxygen. So we basically have oxygen being made all the time. For the PRC, we need to give it oxygen and also some coal blocks. So in the back, we need 2 more channels, 1 for gases and 1 for items. The gas one is going to take from the chemical tank with oxygen, which is the bottom one here, I believe. Yeah, that should be the one. And we're going to set an extract and then an insert into the PRC. There we go. The side config here I set to input output for, I believe, items is input output on the back, and then fluids is input on the back, and then gases is input output on the back. Before we tackle the items, we're going to get excess gas out of the PRC, and I don't know if you can set like a dumping thing for the gas? I don't think so. No, you cannot. So we're gonna have to somehow deal with the hydrogen, and it's gonna be simple enough to just have another channel. And on the PRC, we're gonna set an extract, and then we're gonna insert into the tank with hydrogen, like so. So that should clear out the hydrogen that's gonna be made. And then we need items, like so. And let's see, the left drawer is the topmost one. So here we're gonna set an extract and an insert into the PRC. And we should be seeing sulfur being made. Yes. Awesome. And the hydrogen gets emptied and it's gonna get put into here where it's gonna get voided, basically. Yeah, you can see it gets 1 bucket extra and it's voided. Awesome. So now we need to just deal with the sulfur. So we need another item channel. And we're gonna set an extract and an insert into here. So that should do its thing for the sulfur. There we go. It's slowly transferring and we can set it to transfer stacks at a time as well. There we go. And we're gonna set an insert and we're gonna set 2000 over here to keep in here. So that should continue to work until we have 2000 sulfur, and that should be pretty good. Next, on this first channel, this is our sulfur drawer. So we can set an extract and we can insert into the chemical oxidizer. We can set an insert and we need to filter. I think only the sulfur should go into here if we set the input properly. So we're gonna do an input on the back. There we go. Awesome. So the sulfur is being processed and we are getting liquid sulfur dioxide without any other configuration because this probably has proper inputs. And if we give him sulfur a little bit quicker, let's extract stacks at a time here as well. This guy should be running at max speed that it can. This guy is concentrating and we're getting liquid sulfur dioxide. Awesome. If we now grab a bucket of this liquid sulfur dioxide and bring it all the way up here to our machine contraption for ultimate Technium, we can get a fluid export bus and we're going to toss it over here and we're going to set liquid sulfur dioxide. So that should start getting exported into here like so. Awesome. And I realized that I didn't automate the energized steel yet. So that is going to be our next step. So we need to figure out where we're going to set up an energizing station for making energized steel and possibly also the blazing pyrotheum thingy doodle, whatever these calls are, blazing crystals. That's the one. We need to automate those as well. I have made a little bit of an expansion to the base. I basically copied these 3 over here again, and we're gonna have basically enough space for 6 of these energizing setups. They're gonna look like this, and I'm gonna explain what everything is going to do. It's still not fully set up, and I'm gonna see if it's actually gonna properly work. I think it should, but we'll see. So basically, the reason for me using this type of setup is that these energizing rods, they attach to basically a cable that can provide it power. And the only cable that can provide it power is this cable from Mechanism. It doesn't connect specifically to the XNet connectors. I have tried, it does not show up in the controller. So the other façadable option is the FE P2P tunnel. And you might be wondering, how do you get an FE P2P tunnel if all you can craft is the regular ME P2P tunnels? Well, you just place the ME P2P tunnels and then you right click them with something that has FE basically on them. So basically this energizing rod or something else that you have, like an energy cell or something. Anything will really work. And now you can then place the energizing rods on here, like so, and like so. And I think 6 of these will be plenty. I haven't actually tested if this is going to work, so let's do this and this. Are they close enough? They are. Okay, cool. So it's going to work. Nice. Awesome. The P2P tunnels transfer power the same way that they do channels. So we need an input P2P tunnel for power, which we can do just somewhere on possibly this dense cable. We can possibly sneak it in somewhere in the back. What we can do is we can put an anchor there, smart cable here, P2P tunnel here, and then we can right click it with, let's say, a flux point. That should work as well to make it a power thing. Is it not? No. Can I click it with this? Huzzah! Okay, so there we go. So if we then grab our memory card, and if we sneak right click on this P2P tunnel, we get a unique channel, and then we can right click on all of these. And I think it can be linked to as many outputs as it wants, I believe. So it's going to give power to everything over here, pretty much, from that single flux point. I think that should be enough. Yeah, if we try another one of these, we should see the rods get drained and restored with the power. You can see that down below. So this is going to work. So now I have to do the whole input and output here on the controller, which also needs power. So I could do another P2P tunnel. How do we want to do this so it's going to be most efficient? I think the simplest solution is to automate flux, which I have done over here, and I totally forgot to set this to redstone high. But basically, teleportation cores are being extracted from the system with a crafting card, because these are things that can be crafted and are not just an item that is produced. So the crafting card basically requests the system to craft a teleportation core when it needs to export one. So if we grab some flux dust here, we can now make pretty much an infinite amount of flux points and flux plugs. So down here, we're going to set up a recipe for both. We need some flux cores, flux blocks, then a flux plug, and a flux point. These flux cores require some Eyes of Ender, which requires blaze powder, which we could just set up a crafting recipe for blaze rods turned to blaze powder. But since blaze rods are fairly slow to make, we'd rather use a pulverizer to get more out of it. And I know I can use better machines to get more blaze powder. For example, if I put it in the mechanical squeezer, I can get 5 out of each blaze rod. With the pulverizer, I'm going to get 3. Basically, the pulverizer can auto in, auto out. I don't need to set up anything with XNet in the back here, and it's just going to be easier that way. So we need to auto input, auto output. We then need to give you some augments like so. And we could... yeah, we don't need more sulfur. Oh, this is going to produce sulfur. We need a double drawer down here on the bottom. All right, so blaze rod on the export bus like so. And then here we're going to set it for, let's say, 2000 blaze powder. Mid-1 levels are below and redstone high. And then I need to change this drawer down below. And now that we have everything automated, we can request like 51 of these flux points. So we're going to have pretty much a stack, and we're probably never even going to use this much. There we go. We have 62 total now. Awesome. I think we're just going to get each controller their own flux point. We can pretty much have an infinite amount of these, and it really doesn't matter anyway. And here in this controller, we're going to have 2 separate extracts. One is going to be for steel ingots, the other one for gold ingots. And we need to set the insert to have a max amount in destination inventory of 1, because if we import more than one of these, the recipe is not going to work. And then we also need to extract some items out of here, which is going to be the product. So we're going to extract it, and then we're going to insert it into the compacting drawer. And we're going to set it for 2000 like we do normally with everything. So this should, if we actually enable processing on these channels, which I have it disabled, it should work, I think. You have 1 gold. Why are you not exporting steel though? Because they have different channels for each one of these. Unless... yeah, maybe I need the insert to be whitelisted also, because then it's going to detect that it's 1 gold and 1 steel. I think that's the problem. So if we add an insert for gold here, and then we add an insert for steel, I think then it should be smart enough to know that, yeah, okay, cool. Works. Awesome. Now, we all need to do is just an export here with a capacity card for gold and steel, and we'll do round robin. And there we go. We have energized steel automated. And the reason I wanted these P2P tunnels is that I can put facades on top of them. Even though you can really see the P2P tunnel, it's going to be kind of like yellowy everywhere, but at least it's a little bit nicer than just having cables with no facades around them. So I need one of these to do sneak right click like so, and then sneak right click there, and there we go. Energized steel is complete. Always make sure to put the storage downgrades in your drawers, kids, because otherwise you export 2000 of the item, and that's no good. Anyway, in the controller here, it's going to be the exact same thing, and I need to get behind here again. We're going to give it a flux point like so. And then we need here a little bit simpler. We just need a item channel, and we need to extract a blaze rod out into the Energizer. And we're going to keep 1 in the thing. And then we extract out of the Energizer like so and insert into the compacting drawer. And we're going to set it for 2000. And that should be pretty much it. I decided to also set up the Niotic crystals, but they're currently struggling a little bit to charge up with the power in these rods. At least they were a moment ago. Yeah, the rods are kind of slowly draining of power, not getting enough. I don't know why, because we have production of enough power, so it should be giving them enough power. But just in case, we're gonna just start upgrading these to the next tier, the Niotic energizing rod. So we're gonna grab one of these. We're gonna go here. Yeah, it's not getting enough power. Why are you not getting enough power? Okay, now that I've added multiple of these, they seem to be okay-ish. Because every time we exchange one of the diamonds, they get a little bit of extra power and it don't drain more than they're making. So over time, they should start filling up and it should be fine, I think. The other thing that I had to change on the insert here, you have to specify which crystal you're inserting because this checks the max amount of items in the destination inventory and it checks also the block. So it would count the blocks and the little crystals together. So it would store like 200 and something crystals and then 20 something blocks. And that combined would be 500. So, or 250, I should say. So here I changed it and you can see it's storing 250 of the crystals because I have it set on the insert on the controller. Let's lag the base, shall we? Because if we trigger this, it's going to trigger this and this and this, and it's going to trigger like 10 of machines that are going to start making items. So we'll see if the base will survive once I start doing this. So we need an extract from the drawer controller here and an insert in the machine, which is, it now says some machine block. That is the resource combiner. So if we do an insert and we extract count and we do order, we should start getting this and not count. I wanted extract on stack. Are you crafting? It's running. It's doing its thing. We're going to get our first ultimate Technium ingots. Amazing. Give it to me. Oh, where did you go? Ah, okay, didn't show up. Okay, ultimate Technium. You're going to go in here. And we need to add a storage bus here. And we also need a level emitter in the back. This guy right here. And we're going to set it to 300 and emit when levels are above or equal to limit. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to give the ultimate Technium ingot into here to make it run a little bit faster. And then we also need to just extract out of here and insert into the drawer. That should do its thing over here. Yes, we're getting ultimate Technium ingots in here stored now. The first few are just going to upgrade this. If we take this out, we're going to toss this in, and we're just going to toss the basic Technium or the elite Technium ingots back into the... No, I didn't want lapis. I wanted the elite Technium. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's slowly start spending our Technium to complete random quests. First of all, the solar panel blazing, and if I put it in my inventory, it's going to detect the quest. There we go. Then we need the Technium pickaxe, which is the highest tier of the Technium pickaxe that we can get, and we need another piece of Technium for that. There we go. We can make the ultimate Technium pickaxe. With that, I assume we can move all of the ores because it's the last one. Allows you to collect tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 ores and move them to a more suitable location. Awesome. In the meantime, while we're waiting, let's get some Nether teleportation online. So we need, I believe, 2 of these. One for the quest and one to craft the Nether teleporter thing. We need this guy, the Nether controller. Yeah, we need 2 of these cores. We can now make the Nether controller, and then we need a special kind of structure for this to work. 8 mechanism quantum entangloporters. We need 126 mechanism structural glass and 92 obsidian. The structural glass is simple. It's just steel ingots and glass. So we're going to get a recipe for this and we're going to toss it in here somewhere. 126, please. Thank you very much. So we need 90 something obsidian. So let's grab 2 stacks. And then we also need the quantum entangloporters, for which we're going to set up a recipe. And they, I believe, require the ultimate control circuits, which require ultimate Technium plates. So we basically have to wait for more ultimate Technium ingots. We basically need Technium plates to continue. So let's make one, shall we, in here. And then we're going to toss it in here. We're going to quantify the drawer and then set up the level emitter in the back to be... How many did I set up in here? Did I still do 16? No, I did 100 plates. Okay, yeah, that's fine. well, actually, let's do 20 for the moment. I don't think we're gonna need more than that. We need an input on the back, output on the bottom, input on the left, I should say. And then we just need to set up the controller to extract out of this drawer. We extract, and then we insert into the side over here. And that should give it Technium ingots, auto output. There we go. We have Technium plates starting to be made, and we have 4 total, which is enough to make 1 quantum entangloporter, I believe. Oh, we have them, but we don't have them in the system. If we add a storage bus, that will be probably a little bit better. Our first quantum entangloporter is done. So the quest is not complete because we didn't get an ultimate control circuit, for which we need 2 more Technium plates. We can now actually make the ultimate control circuit, and that should complete the 2 quests over here. And now the only thing that is left is us getting into the Nether and making another teleporter. We need to give this guy a Nether teleportation core, and then it should do its thing, it says, right? Like a structural glass, obsidian. Oh, of course. If I put the quantum entangleporters down, that might also give it a little bit of a edge. Oh, it's doing its thing. Okay. Nether teleporter. Oh. I assume I just right-click this and I go to the Nether. I have put down my waystone over here, and I think we're gonna go to the Nether in the next episode. So I'm gonna leave you on a cliffhanger, and I wanna thank you all so much for watching. I'm really hoping you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. You can also subscribe to get notified of when new videos go live, and you can also support me on Patreon if you wanna play with me on this very server, and I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.